Hey, good morning. This is Al with Ginnin Cotton. This is part 2 of our gin stand video. This gin stand video is being brought to you by Pumpkin Center Gin and DJI, the gin stand guys. We just covered the part of the gin stand where we are removing the lint. We're essentially doing both things at one time. We're removing the lint from the seed. The gin stand is a very dangerous product, or a very dangerous machine, okay? So it's one of our only open machines that you can get into that cannot be guarded, okay? So we have a lot of extensive training that happens, and only certain people that have lots of years of experience get to be in front of the gin stand. So we call that our ginner and our ginner's helper. The reason that the gin stand is open at the top is for this cotton to be able to fall in. We have to be able to, it catches fire very easily. So any type of a friction will catch that gin stand on fire. So you have an open face there, opening that where your seed roll is, and then your saw. When you pull that gin stand in, that saw goes up into those ribs. And so when that saw goes into those ribs, you have an exposed saw. So you just know not to put your hand in it, almost like a table saw. If you're cutting a piece of wood, that saw is going to be exposed. You don't want to put your finger in there. You may draw back something shorter than what you started with. So anyhow, it's the same with us. The problem is our saws are little bitty, teeny tiny, and you stick your hand in there. If you go in, they could potentially go right up the middle of all your fingers if you're lucky. It can pull you in. So this is one of the things, and you'll see on the videos, I'm going to post about this, is how this cotton's an open flow going to the top of this gin stand. Anyways, very, very dangerous spot in the gin. Probably one of the most dangerous because there is an opening there that we cannot do anything with. We can't guard it. So you just have to know in your training and rely on your training as to not stick your hand in there. If we do end up with some trouble, if we visibly see some trouble, aside from a fire, the fire, you're gonna smell it, but I've got alarms and everything that go off as soon as it sees a spark. I have a fire machine or fire product called an Argus. And as soon as it sees a flash, it can even be a light in the pipe. So if it sees a flash of light, it alarms, and then we know that something's wrong. We can kick that gin stand out. We've got controls. We push a button, the gin stand comes out, and the saw goes back in behind the ribs where it's not protruding through the ribs, where it's not dangerous. We go ahead and shut it off. We don't stick our hand in it with it running, but we could possibly have a knot, is what we call it, a wad of either seed or stick or something that's gotten in between those ribs that won't come out, and so that saw sitting there rubbing and causing friction fire. We do have sticks, we call them gin sticks, and so if we do get in a situation to where there is something stuck in those ribs, we will dig it out with that stick, or we can squirt it out with air. A lot of times we can just lay there and blow that knot right through those ribs with compressed air. That way you're not having to get yourself in a situation where you can get yourself hurt. So with that being said, we've already talked about the lint going out the back, and the lint is the purpose for the cotton being grown so we can make clothing. So the next thing is very important, is the cotton seed. The cotton seed, with the exception of cottonseed being caught for a seed block. So the seed block I'll explain as companies such as Delta Pine, Stonewall, some of these companies will come to us and say, hey, we want the seed from that field. We want you to clean up your gin, get it ready, gin that off into one of our trucks, and we're gonna take it and we're gonna delint that seed and make it where it's able to be planted. The rest of the seed that we use, unless it's done in cooperation with one of these seed companies, normally goes into some form of cow feed or vegetable oil. So we can go to the oil mill, they're gonna crush this, and that becomes a vegetable oil that you can cook with, or it goes straight into a dairy to where the cottonseed is so full of fat, it makes a really good milk fat for dairy cows. So your cream, your butter, whole milk, stuff like that, it makes a better milk. I don't know if it's true now. I know at one time a lot of dairies would feed 2 pounds of fuzzy seed per cow per day. Kind of give you just a reference. So the other important part about the cotton seed is the seed is used as a bartering system. For example, if I come in, and we're gonna talk pretty elementary about it, but if I come in and I say, all right, Farmer Brown, I'm gonna charge you $3 per hundredweight of your module that comes across the module feeder. And we've talked about this. So the less trash that's in that module, the less it's gonna cost you to gin it. So that's why we have the pickers, the burr extractors, and then you have your straight strip. Your straight strips are gonna come with everything almost cats. You know, we've got it all, and we've got to remove that. So I have to charge to be able to remove all that waste out of that cotton to make it a formidable product to be able to use to be made into clothing. Your next option is cotton that's run through a burr extractor. So it's gonna do the similar stuff as us. They're gonna harvest it, and as it's being harvested, it's got a machine like our stick machines that uses centrifugal force and throws the burrs off all they can, and then it puts the cleaned cotton up into a basket. I want to throw in there is a little bit of a difference. It will have a tendency to grind up some of that stuff, and sometimes we can hurt our our grade, or our lint grade, because we have so much trash in it from being ground up. The difference in a cotton gin and the difference in that machine on that burr extractor on that stripper is we add heat. So we've talked about that also. So we'll add heat to that cotton, and we'll let that fiber straighten out, kind of like curly hair. We can heat it up, make that fiber straighten out, so you can shake that stuff out. In the field, they don't have that. The third option is being picked. So there's a spindle picker, and it comes through, and it just, essentially, the idea is just to pull the lint out of that burr and bring that to the gin. So that gets back to why the seed is so important. The seed's important because I'll say, I'm gonna charge you $3 per hundredweight to come across that scale, okay? So if you're full of trash, then I'm gonna charge you more, right? But I'm also gonna say, hey, your cotton seed's worth $300 a ton. So your cotton seed at $300 a ton could offset how much trash you're bringing. So you could potentially have $10, $20, $30, $40 per bale value in your cotton seed, more than what I've charged you to gin it. So I'm gonna pull my value out, I'm gonna pull my charge out, and I'm gonna give you the benefit of the extra seed that is made by that plant, because that's a value-added commodity to me. So I'm gonna give you credit for that. So what happens is, I'll gin this cotton, it goes to the gin stand, we remove the lint and the seed, the fuzzy seed falls into an auger, and we go down the length of the gin stands, we pick them up from all the gin stands, we go up in an elevator and we drop it into a scale. That scale has an accumulator on it that's tied to the press. Every time that press turns to make a bale, it says that's the amount of seed that bale made. So say 600 pounds. So 600 pounds per bale adds up if you have 500 bales. So think about that. That's a lot of cotton seed. So if you come in here and you say, what's your seed price? That's what most people ask. They're gonna ask me what my seed price is, and I'm gonna say my seed price is this. So therefore, my ginning cost is this, but my seed price is this, and we're gonna offset the ginning cost with your seed. When we do that, I owe you money. I owe you money because the value of your seed was worth more than the process that I charged you to do. So everybody gets paid in this. So we're at this point to where, and we'll get into the selling of cotton later, but what we've got is you've got two different incomes coming in on your cotton, okay? So you've got your lint income. So when it's sold, we sell this cotton, the money comes to us, and we've got the value of your lint in our account, and we're gonna write you a check for that. But also, if your seed weighed heavy enough, you've got another check coming. And so the farmers, they call that their seed check. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, Joe Blow cotton buyer paid for your cotton and it's worth $10,000. And your cotton seed from that field is worth $2,000. So we're going to write you a check for your $10,000, and then we're going to write you a check for your $2,000 for your cotton seed, which was above what we charged to do this process for you. This is a very confusing thing to most people, and it's confusing to farmers because farmers don't understand the different things that happen in a cotton gin. The major thing is your offset ratio of your offsetting our charges with the value of your seed. That seed, 99% of the time that I gin, goes straight to a dairy. Okay, we're going to cut it short there. We're going to stop there, and then we'll get into it a little bit farther because we're going to start getting into just some charges and processing. But that'll kind of give you the idea of what happens with that seed. It's very important to bring that up. Okay, we just did this, but you also need to know if you ginned cotton with Pumpkin Center this year, I put your name into a hat, into a bucket. This time, the last time, I gave an OtterBox. This time is a $200 gift certificate to a tool store that I like to use. And you can buy some pretty neat tools there. And it's in Lubbock. So, we're gonna pull one out. The last time turned into a mess. I went to pull it out. I had like 4 of them stuck together. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the ink stuck them together. So actually, I said I had it and I didn't. So I had to go back and I had to pull them all apart, throw them back in there and draw one out. So the last one for the OtterBox, we did get our winner and I will be contacting him. This one right here is for this gift certificate, and I got that. And so I'll be contacting this man and we will get in touch with him, and hopefully he can buy him some tools that he will enjoy, and thank him for Ginnin Cotton with Pumpkin Center. Thanks for watching Ginnin Cotton. Keep watching. We're getting better. We're learning. We're enjoying doing this, and I hope you're learning. So we'll throw some videos in here and hopefully you enjoy this, and thanks for watching Ginnin Cotton.